Hello, teachers. My name's Audrey from teacheraudrey123.com. And on my channel, you will find videos about teaching ESL online, creating an inspiration to keep on keeping on. In this video, we are going to discuss that distracted student. I know you have all had them, and it can be frustrating at times. But I want to help you get to the point that you don't stress over those distracted students, even if they come to your class again and again and again. I am going to give you some tools to help pull the student in and then give you just some advice to be okay with whatever the outcome is because we can only do so much. So I have 5 tips for you today. The first tip is to reassess where the student is. Sometimes the student's behavior and what seems to be distraction is because they truly don't understand. I know I have students that they can read what's on the page, but they do not understand what those words mean. So then when I ask them to do something, instead of engaging, they act out or are distracted. Another reason is that the content is too easy and you're not making it engaging enough. So we don't always have to do that. So we don't always have to do I do, we do, you do. Sometimes whenever I'm getting to know a student or I've already known them, I will just give them a few seconds and prompt them to either read or complete the task with little modeling. If they need it, then I will provide the support. This allows the student to show what they know without without the teacher being overbearing. Now, so once you figure that out, that can sometimes bring the student into focus and help them to engage better. My second tip is to give extra wait time, like double or double and a half. At this point, I ask the question, I wait a few minutes, then I ask the question again, and sometimes I ask it in a different way, and then I move on because I don't want to spend all my time just trying to get them engaged in a certain portion of the lesson because I might gain their attention in another section that they're more interested in. My third tip is be sure that you're making connections with them. If they are sharing something on the screen or you know that they like something, engage them in that conversation. I truly believe that when you're teaching, the biggest goal is the student output. We want to get the most output that we can from our student. So if I'm having trouble with my student engaging, we may have off the wall conversations. I don't know how many times we have, in some of my lower level classes, we've eaten the teacher. We've done stuff with monsters. And I'm always at that point expecting and encouraging them to repeat the words, phrases, and sentences and have proper pronunciation. But I am okay if we steer clear on it. I know some of my students, I have more output if they give me the wrong answer because they know they do and they like to make it a game. So I do that with those students. Also, with the older students, it's good to make those connections with them if they're able to understand. And sometimes I will move off topic and try to bring something in either through minicam or something that I have in my classroom to try to just get them engaged for a few minutes and then I reintroduce and try to get back to the lesson. I'm always trying to get through those slides and present the material, but I also want the students to become engaged and to um, feel confident enough and want to come to English class so they can truly learn. And if we've hit that brick wall, we need to do stuff to soften it up so we can get over the hump. Fourth tip is to take the pressure off yourself. Do your best to engage the student. Do your best to Find props to bring them in, ask them to show you something, um, make it a song, ask questions, do whatever you can to get them to participate. But be thankful for whatever you get from your student. Also know that we can only do so much. We're across the world and we are teaching them on the screen. We're limited. So I have learned to always try to pull them in, work on what they need to work on, challenge them to do, to push themselves and to have better output. But then to step back and realize that I did the best I could and they have to take responsibility and get the out and give the outputs also. Um, then that leads to what about the parents? If we get off topic or we're spending a lot of time trying to get them to engage, or we choose to skip some of the lesson because they just choose to refuse to participate or to work on those corrections. I feel like that's my biggest issue, not necessarily distractions, but not wanting to work on that proper pronunciation or the proper sentence structure. So I just encourage it, encourage them to give some output, and then I take what I get and then I move on. So in the feedback, I will write to the parent and say, I did this. We talked about, we just repeated because Sophia did not want to answer questions today. And so I decided the best way to get output of her, from her was just to repeat. Or today we didn't cover all these slides, but I made up sentences with Danny's cars and we practiced talking about the cars and their colors and I got output from him. So then after I explain like what we did, I tell them why. I did this because I want the child to enjoy, I want the child to want to come to English class, and I want to keep them engaged and have them have output during the lesson because the more words they speak and the more they interact with the language, the more fluent and the stronger English speakers they will become. And then I will tell the parent, if you want me to do something different, please let me know. We will continue to build on these skills and be able to cover more material as your child matures. Now for my older students who are just, sometimes I have 10 and 11-year-olds that are just as wild as my 4-year-olds. So in my feedback, I'll just tell the parents, so Duke will have the most success if he sits and is focused and interacts in the lesson. When he is moving around and not paying attention, he seems to struggle. I suggest that you sit with him or come in and out until he develops that self control to be able to do it independently. And then I leave it with the parents to decide what they want to do. Every few weeks or every few classes that I have the student, depending on how often I teach them, with the older ones, I'll send the LP a note and I'll say, this is what we're working on. I really want to see him more engaged. Um, but to do that, he needs to be focused. Please let the parents know the importance of him being focused because I had this one kid, his dad was with him, and he had an amazing class. Great output, focus, read, answered questions, and then because they were in the car and so dad was nearby. Any other classes, they've been rough because it's like pulling his attention and trying to encourage him to engage in the lesson. So I just off and on tell the LP that we struggle with distractions, and I will continue to encourage him to read and practice so he can become a stronger English speaker. And I also tell the parents one reason it's important for them to stay focused so that they can get the most out of these classes. And then I close the feedback by telling them this is important because this will enhance Duke's, or whatever the student's name is, ability to succeed and do better on his exam and become more and to sound more like a fluent native English speaker. So those are my 5 tips about how to interact with a distracted student in class. In the comments below, let me know how you interact with your distracted students, how you balance getting the material covered, but then doing what the student needs at the same time. I would love to learn any tips from you so I can become a better teacher. And I've learned that as we brainstorm together and share our ideas, the better we all become, and we can be a great support for our students. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And if you know anybody that would benefit from this channel, please send them my way. Thank you and happy teaching. Bye.